Welcome to Nilds 360, your inside look at how research dialogue and capacity building are strengthening legislative governance in Nigeria through the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies. In this edition, we bring you highlights of key engagements, partnerships, and capacity building initiatives driving democratic development and institutional excellence. The National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies, in collaboration with the University of Benin, has yet again matriculated 180 students into its postgraduate programs for the 2025-2026 academic session.
About 180 students have been admitted into our postgraduate program that is structured into 5 master's degree programs and 4 postgraduate diploma programs in the following study program as follows: Election and Party Politics, Legislative Studies, Parliamentary Administration, Legislative Drafting, and Constitutional Law and Constitutional Development. All lectures hold here at the Nilds facilities in Abuja.
I therefore want to implore the students to give required attention to their learning, as the curriculum have been designed to meet the needs of your chosen course of study. All the programs under the affiliation arrangement of Nilds Uniben are fully accredited by the National Universities Commission, NUC. And as such, you have nothing to worry about, as having this additional qualification will not only enhance your knowledge on legislative matters, but also expand your opportunities to other aspects of democratic governance and national development.
The President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio GCON, represented by Senator Shuaib Salisu, urged the students to take their studies seriously, describing them as future custodians of democratic institutions.
You have come here today not by accident, not by mere convenience, but by choice, by the deliberate decision to prepare yourselves for the serious business of governance, of legislation, and of nation building. These moments, though clothed in ceremonial dresses, carry within it a profound responsibility. For you are not merely students enrolling in a program, you are custodians in the making. Custodians of ideas, custodians of institutions, custodians of democratic future of our great nation, Nigeria.
Nilds again hosted the National Convention on Women's Roadmap to the 2027 general elections. The convention brought together key stakeholders, including FIDA Nigeria, the League of Women Voters of Nigeria, IPAC, and UN Women to develop actionable strategies for increasing women's political participation. Nilds strengthened its academic partnerships through the signing of Memorandum of Understanding with Yakubu Gowon University, formerly known as the University of Abuja. The agreement is expected to enhance collaboration in academic exchange, research, and capacity building with a focus on advancing legislative studies and democratic governance.
It is my belief that as a country we don't grow, the workforce, even the society itself, or even develop democratically, unless we synergize, we bring in what you don't have, bring it to us there, that's how we have to go. We can't claim to have everything in terms of knowledge, in terms of resources, in terms of personnel. So when we have thousands of our colleagues there, it's different sectors. I think we should be able to avail this opportunity, and that is why this kind of leadership is very important.
In this significant milestone, Nilds and the University of Abuja also held the maiden matriculation ceremony for their collaborative postgraduate programs, marking the beginning of a new phase in legislative education and professional development.
It is in line with the Establishment Act that Nilds has continued to evolve in its academic programs, to provide the needed human capital that will lead innovation in the nation's governance, democratic institutions, and processes.
On international collaboration, Nilds also hosted a delegation from the Gauteng Provincial Legislature of South Africa on a benchmarking visit aimed at strengthening legislative effectiveness and institutional collaboration. The engagement provided an opportunity for knowledge exchange as both institutions explored innovative approaches to enhancing legislative performance. The visit culminated in the signing of a memorandum of understanding to promote research collaboration, capacity development, and institutional strengthening.
I'm confident that this partnership will strengthen our collective efforts to build capable, responsive, and effective legislature on an African continent and steer us towards the Africa we want, as expired by the African Union Agenda 2063.
The work that you are doing here today, it concretizes exactly that for us to thrive as a continent, we need to align ourselves with the continental and processes that we have in our respective nations.
Your visit today therefore represents a valuable opportunity for mutual learning, institutional collaboration, and the strengthening of democratic governance through shared expertise. The MOU to be signed today is particularly significant in this regard. It establishes a framework for strategic cooperation between NIDS and the Gauteng Provincial Legislature in areas that are critical to institutional development.
As part of efforts to promote policy dialogue on emerging economic trends, Nilds hosted a conference organized by the Chartered Institute of Financial and Investment Analysts of Nigeria. The conference themed Digital Economic Transformation and Inclusive Growth Challenges in Nigeria examined the opportunities and challenges associated with Nigeria's evolving digital economy. The Director General expressed optimism that the discussions would contribute meaningfully to shaping policies that promote inclusive growth and sustainable development.
As the capacity building and policy research arm of the National Assembly of Nigeria, the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies (NILD) remains committed to strengthening legislative governance and promoting evidence-based policymaking.
For capacity building for public institutions, in its continued commitment to strengthening institutional capacity, Nilds organized a 2-day training program for commissioners of the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission. The training focused on enhancing participants' understanding of legislative procedures, policy engagement, and strategic communication. The Director General emphasized that effective governance requires well-equipped public officials who can navigate legislative processes and build productive relationships with the National Assembly.
We expect that at the end of these engagements, you will be better positioned to translate strategic vision into measurable outcomes, strengthen collaboration with critical stakeholders, including the legislature, the executive, and state governments, and drive institutional reform that will enhance efficiency, transparency, and public confidence.
Further reinforcing its role as a national capacity building institution, Nilds received delegations from various organizations, including the Jigawa State Public Complaint and Anti-Corruption Commission. This engagement focused on exploring opportunities for collaboration in capacity building, policy development, and institutional strengthening.
We recognize the need for continuous capacity building of our staff in order to build a robust, professionalized framework for the Commission. We believe that such a framework will provide a structured basis of sustained institutional cooperation between NILDS and the Jigawa State Public Complaint and Anti-Corruption Commission.
Here at NIDS, we're ready to partner with you We're ready to hone the skill of your staff. We're ready to be a partner in progress. We have all the resources. We have all the infrastructure. We have all the literature. And we have all the linkages, even beyond the soul of this country, to assist you. I'm proud to say we're proud of you.
And last but not the least, on this episode of Nilds 360, the media unit at Nilds interviewed the Acting Director Democracy and Governance at the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies, Dr. Chris Ingara, to give an insight on the upcoming elections and how academic research can influence electoral reforms.
We have all been part and witnesses to the electoral processes in Nigeria, particularly since 1999. And I think the weak link for now, has been the transmission of election results. And perhaps that is why that aspect has drawn considerable public attention. The focus and the agitations of civil society groups and other stakeholders in the period before the passage and the enactment of the 2026 Electoral Act has mainly focused on how election results will be transmitted. There are technology we can leverage. Yes, INEC has been doing that, trying to introduce technology into the biometric system into voter registration. But I think that there is something still missing that can be fixed, and we can use technology so that we can remove those who have double voter registration, and then we can also use technology to identify people who are underage. We can use technology to do a lot of things. All right, let us assume that the numbers are accurate. All right, that we have over 90-something million voters.
Yes, sir.
Now, the people themselves, those who have been voting, in the election, and they are not seeing results. Human beings are rational animals. All right, and rationality is that you are acting based on your best interest. And when you have been acting based on your best interest and voting in elections without seeing any result, of course, you will have to rethink. Okay? So the tendency for people to withdraw on the system and watch is also there. Though that is not the best attitude. Because if you withdraw and you don't participate, you are still giving the ruling class the opportunity to manipulate the election. Institutions do not have the life of their own. It is individuals that manage these institutions that give life to those institutions. Laws don't have life of their own. It is human beings that operate the institutions that give life to laws, and by extension, institutions. All right, so the behavior and the attitude of the occupants of public institutions is very sacrosanct. All right, so today we have weak institutions. Agreed. We also have elites, that are also not ready to play the game according to the rules.
Thank you for watching Nilds 360. My name is Ramat Abdurrahim. Stay connected with us for more updates on our programs and initiatives. And don't forget to follow us on our social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel.